Okay, fight fans joining us now. Actor Khris David playing the role of Big George Foreman in Big George Foreman. Welcome to the show.
What's good? What's good? I'm happy to be here.
Listen,
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We just chopped it up with Big George. Talk about how much did you know about George, or were you even a fight fan before reading for this role?
So I was a fight fan for sure, but I didn't know much about Mr. Foreman's life. I mean, as far as his fighting experience went, I just thought that, well, all I knew was that he was the hurdle that Ali had to get over. And then I knew him as the grill guy, so when I got the role and I started to do my research, I mean, even when I was auditioning, and I was going back and I was looking at his legacy as a fighter in the 70s and then his comeback legacy, I was in awe. I was shocked at how in depth his fight history was,
Right. When you're doing a movie, usually you learn so much about the character. What do you think was his greatest moment in his career?
I mean, there's so many moments in his career and in his life that were fantastic, but I think we can't downplay the comeback.
Yes.
I think we can't downplay the comeback, because he came back when most people are retiring, or they're trying to stay in that long. Most pro athletes can't. You understand? Most pro athletes can't make it to 37 or 38 or 40 or 45. That, you know what I mean? Yes. Which, in my opinion, right now that we talk about GOAT a lot, it puts you in GOAT status nowadays, right? To be 45 and to be a pro athlete, you understand, and to be able to compete with the young cats, So when he lost all that weight and he came back and he won the title again, I mean, that's a miracle in and of itself. So I think that's got to be, in his fight history, one of the most impressive things that he's ever done.
All right, speaking of moments, though, can you think of a great moment that you shared with him making this film?
Well, just going down to spend time with him in Houston, was a fantastic moment, man. I didn't ever see in my life that I'd be sitting across from Mr. George Foreman. Again, I didn't know much about him until I started to do my research, and I read his autobiographies, and I saw his fight footage, and I saw all of his interviews and things like that. And this man just became so much bigger for me, and I was so much more impressed by his legacy. So when I was sitting in front of him down there in Houston, I couldn't talk. I mean, I had questions on my phone that I was supposed to ask, but all I really wanted to do was give this man the deference to speak, and I just wanted to be in his presence,
What was the hardest part about playing this role?
Well, overall, we're talking about Mr. George Foreman. So he's somebody that most of us, if not all of us, know, spanning several generations. So I think the hardest part was to ensure that I was authenticating as much as I could who he was, his life, and the legacy that we all remember. And not only that, the man that he is to his family. I wanted to authenticate it for his family and his friends and those who know him in his private life. I wanted all of it to kind of encompass that. And the hardest part, one of the hardest parts for me, I think, was to get his fighting styles down. And I say styles plural because he had the first style, which was when he was younger, with stop blocks and the parries, and he did a lot of the Matador and the Bull stuff, and he had that crazy one shot, and then the hard wide body shots and hard wide hits he would give you to the head. You got to be real specific with that, and then you get into his second career, and then you get with the crossbody defense. Yeah, he did with Holyfield, things like that, and even the fight with Michael Moore, the southpaw, orthodox thing that they go through with the pawing and the dipping and the stepping over the foot, authenticating those things so that Mr. Foreman's legacy, number one, is ringing true, but also that fight fans and fighters alike could come and see those indicators and also feel seen and feel like, hey, we're getting it right.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, you know, you're talking to two major boxing guys, and those little nuances are so important in a boxing film. So I'm happy to hear that you studied that and you wanted to implement it exactly the way he did it, because that's what brings you back to those historic fights, to those moments,
right.
you know, when you emulate it the same way. Now, learning about George, right? Did it inspire you at all to like maybe even become more of a boxing fan, but not so much boxing fan, but just to learn about the great Black athletes that, you know, that we've had in this world?
Well, I knew quite a bit about some fight history, but unfortunately, I, like many people, I think, kind of bypassed Mr. Foreman's impact on the sport, you know, and I think that it was easy to do because he was standing next to such a colossal figure as Muhammad Ali. So it was easy to bypass him. He was there at that same time. So, but I was already somebody who was interested in the history of boxing. You know, I did a play years ago at the Lincoln Center in New York called The Royale, which was loosely based off of Jack Johnson. So, you know, really took it back there, really did some studying when it came to fighting. So what it did do for me was it further deepened my appreciation for the sport. I had no idea what fighters were what they went through. I had no idea how hard fighters worked. I had never actually gloved up before, right? And of course you get into some rumbles here and there in your life, but that's nothing like gloving up and getting in there with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah. So how was that? How did that feel like first time sparring and getting hit in the nose?
Listen, first of all, I didn't even know how to breathe in the ring. So, you know, I go in there and I exhaust myself completely in the first 30 seconds. Right. And now it's just about survival. This guy's going to keep hitting me. Now it's about survival. How do I keep him off of me? And you know how it is, you know, first time you're sparring, how you get hit, everything goes a little foggy. You can't breathe, all the oxygen left out of your ears. You know what I'm saying? And you're trying to just don't fall and don't quit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the first time it was wild, man. I'm just like, let me just throw a punch, and I could get a punch out here and there. But, you know, it made me have a deep, deep respect for the sport. And that's the way we wanted to do it.
Are you going to continue to train like for recreation and stay in shape in boxing?
I think so. And I think that it has to happen. I think that I was always a fan of the sport, but I played other sports growing up, and there's something that feels good about it to me on a cellular level, to be able to go in there, to glove up, to have that kind of camaraderie. I mean, I think it's beautiful the way that people are in the gym, you know, when it comes to gloving up and the kind of respect that they have for one another. You know, it's a deep, deep respect, man, and that's something that I learned during this process.
Amen. How much weight did you have to gain to play 45-year-old George? And then how long did it take you to lose all of that weight?
So gained 50 pounds in 5 weeks.
Damn.
Yeah, because we took
McDonald's every day.
That must have been fun.
No McDonald's, no. And no, it wasn't fun. So I ate 7,000 calories a day.
Wow.
And gained 50 pounds in 5 weeks. So I went from 225 to 275.
Wow.
And I got my heaviest, I got to 282, you know, and that was wild, man. That was wild. I didn't know my body could get that big, man. Not that fast, right? Of course, because Mr. Foreman, in his actual life, he gained that weight over a 10-year period.
Yes.
Right.
So it was gradual, you know, and for me, it was like immediate. So it was a struggle. But surprisingly, after we finished filming, it all fell off in like 4 weeks.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So you didn't have no bad habits of, oh, I'm still hungry because I'm so used to eating this many calories?
No, I was ready to stop eating. I mean, I did it all on a pescatarian diet, right? So I did it clean. Yeah, I didn't do any dairy, no meat, no sugar, nothing like that. So I did it all clean because I wanted to lose the weight after I was done. That was my main thing. I was like, look, y'all not about to put 50 pounds on me and walk away, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to figure out how we're gonna lose this when this is over.
Exactly.
So in about 4 weeks, I was back down to about 240. And in about 5 or 6 weeks, I was down to 232.
Okay, that's nice.
Well, if anybody wants to watch the, his size difference between those two eras, the 28th of April is going down. Yep. Big George Foreman. You don't want to miss this one, man. I can't wait to see the peekaboo style, man. Make sure you go catch this one. Thanks for taking the time, Khris.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. Take care, brother.
Introducing the new DAZN Boxing Show podcast. No matter the time or the place, getting your boxing content has become easier than ever. Tune in as we give you exclusive insights, predictions, fight night recaps, and more alongside the biggest names in the game. All for free. Available globally every Thursday across all audio streaming platforms and with new episodes dropping weekly to give you the latest news. Just type in the DAZN Boxing Show podcast, listen in, and enjoy.